In early 2005, a new show came out. It came out amidst, in my admittedly biased opinion, some of the best TV for children ever made. It came out and made such an impression it is now in contention for the greatest TV show ever. I am, of course, talking about The Office. But I was 7 and did not care for it. I was too busy watching
I believe Aang can save the world.
Avatar the Last Airbender. Wait. This is a pretty good show. But despite the many attempts, the magic of the show hasn't been recaptured. Magic the Gathering just released their Universes Beyond Avatar set. Was the magic set able to capture the magic? The bending is so cool. Unless you are the live-action movie. Each element has strengths and weaknesses, not in a Pokemon super effective sense, but in a more nuanced way. What environment are you in? If you are being too aggressive against an airbender, you won't hit him. If you aren't aggressive enough against an earthbender, you'll be crushed. Can you use the space and your superior technique to beat your opponent? Can you use their weaknesses against them better than they can use yours against you? This show is a perfect thing to be translated into my favorite game. There are 4 elements and 5 colors. How are they supposed to work? While that is true, let's look at those elements. The bending styles are combative. Each style is linked with a real-world martial art. They are obviously meant to be used to fight. But the male system of Omashu uses bending as a way to transport goods. The trains of Ba Sing Se use earthbending as a way to move people through the city. Katara and Aang use waterbending to walk on the ocean floor. The swamp benders do this. The Fire Nation uses their bending to pilot hot air balloons.
The hills are alive with the sound of
Bending. Just as each bending is more than just combat, each bending style can be more than one color. Water is blue. I don't think anyone would argue that. But what about bloodbending? There's nothing in this show that feels more black than bloodbending. Red is fire, but Azula bends very differently from Zuko. I am so pleased with the direction the folks at Wizards have taken in designing this set, tying the bending to certain colors, but allowing the differences in the characters to influence their color just as much. The mechanics of the bending are also amazing. The aggressive ferocity of fire is perfectly shown in the firebending keyword. It gives you use it or lose it mana for attacking that only lasts through combat. Brilliant! Waterbending and earthbending are really clever. They are 2 styles that require the element to be at hand, and the mechanics require things on your board.
Now all I need is
Lands for earth, obviously, and artifacts or creatures for water. It's not always going to be perfect. Airbending is great because it's so slippery. This show has a great training arc. From a surface level, you can see that each member of the show grows stronger. Aang learns and masters the other 3 elements. Katara goes from struggling to have any control over water to a force of nature. Toph starts as an amazing earthbender and goes on to create metal bending. Sokka becomes a tactician and then a master swordsman. Zuko learns to treat firebending as a beautiful, creative process instead of just fueled by anger and destruction. In that respect, the magic set has nailed it. Each version of these characters, as they are represented in the early parts of their journey, is uncommon, and its power reflects that. Then each character as they appear at the end of the show are mythic or rare powerhouses that we will see at the helm of Commander X for years to come. Sokka's haiku. This captures one of the many times where the show just lets these characters exist in the world. Think about it, nothing happens in this scene that is ever brought up again. He isn't in a fight later where he falls over at a pivotal time because of how hard he got thrown out. He doesn't triumphantly outthink an opponent. It is a scene that just lets us see more of the world and our favorite characters in it.
That's one too many syllables there, bub.
Little Punchia is some of my favorite type of references. It shows the scene where Sokka unknowingly intoxicates himself on cactus juice. The card also references the powerhouse of early magic counterspells, Quench, mirroring its ability. It's a double reference! How to Start a Riot not only references one of my favorite jokes in the series, but can start its own riot in a commander game, making an innocent swing against an opponent deadly. The fact that it can target any player at instant speed can really turn your opponents against each other, and hopefully away from you.
Hey! Riot!
Meteor Sword is a carbon copy of Meteor Golem in Magic the Gathering, reimagined as a deadly equipment. Finally, Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. The poor guy.
My cabbages!
This show is more than cool bending, great humor, or a Dragon Ball Z-esque training journey. The heart of this show is not spectacle or combat, something that the live-action interpretations and even the sequel series gets wrong. This show is about the balance between responsibility and identity. Identity is to hold who you are up, as the rest of you is dragged down by the broken, war-torn, genocidal world you live in. They must discover who they are and hold on to that despite what their responsibilities are. Responsibility takes many forms in the show: destiny, family, honor. Aang shows this struggle most clearly. He is terrified of his destiny as the Avatar, and not wanting to be taken from his family, flees. This in turn traps him, and he ends up losing everything and everyone he knew anyway, except Boomy. He wakes up in a nightmare that is his duty to fix. Then, after 3 amazing seasons where he has stepped up again and again, taking that responsibility seriously, when the end is in sight, the confrontation with the Fire Lord is finally upon him. He has Ozai's life in his hands right here, and he chooses to see the Fire Lord as human. His internal struggle of the entire show, and especially the last season, is all brought to a head at this moment, and he decides that killing Ozai, his responsibility, is not worth sacrificing his identity over. Aang's struggle is against the world. He fights for the voice of his people. He does not want to resort to violence. He doesn't want to kill the Fire Lord, because he sees that if he does, in a way, the Fire Lord wins anyway. His struggle is finding peace in war. This goes beyond his past lives, seeing as how the past avatars all want Ozai dead. Even the previous peaceful airbender disagrees with Aang.
I guess I don't have a choice, Momo. I have to kill the Fire Lord.
From this point on, Aang starts losing the fight. He was on the defense, but now with his internal conflict at the forefront, Aang is no longer just fighting Ozai, but also the entire world. If he isn't going to kill Ozai, how is he supposed to win? The world believes violence is the answer. Aang is fighting against that, while also being trounced by one of the strongest benders on the planet, while at his most powerful. Ozai reinforces this again and again, saying the peaceful monks were weak and had no place in his world, a world ruled by the strong.
Weak, just like the rest of your people. They did not deserve to exist in this world, in my world.
Then, the Avatar State. The Avatar State is another antagonist of the show. Aang does not like to use it. He was told he would need to let go of his humanity in the form of his feelings for Katara to master it, and this scares him just as much as it did when he fled his home 100 years ago. In the beginning of Season 2, just after he really lets loose with the Avatar State, combining with the Sea Spirit to become a vengeful god, he has a hard time going back to it. He only accesses it again to save his friends in the finale of Season 2, and his violence is met with more violence. Now his chakras are unblocked or knocked back into alignment, and he starts putting Ozai on the back foot. But don't misinterpret. Aang is still losing at this point in the fight. This is not what he wants. He is only able to wrench control free at the last second to spare Ozai's life. Now, the ending. Aang has won the internal struggle at this point. He will not stoop to the low of violence, but Ozai is not yet defeated. What defeats Ozai? Not Aang's superior technique, not the Avatar State, but Toph's tremor sense alerting him of the danger, Zuko's firebending to quell Ozai into position, the Lion Turtle's teachings of energy, and the peaceful ways of the air nomads that live on in Aang. This is the distillation of all the good things in the world, all the world's cultures coming together and working together to stop the violence. This moment is not the Avatar restoring balance. It is not the Avatar State using its incredible power to force peace onto people. This is Aang, alone in this new world, showing it that there is another way, a way of peace. A lesser show would dismiss responsibility in favor of identity, or vice versa. Not this show. Both need to be in balance. Aang defeats the Fire Lord not by killing or maiming, but by going deeper, by seeing the Fire Lord as yet another broken person in need of fixing. Zuko needs to restore his honor and return to his father's side. He does it, and finds emptiness in his victory. What he believed would fix him left him feeling more broken. He joins the Avatar, finds strength in doing what is right.
Hello, Zuko here.
He's not some monstrous villain. He is a good person. He finds balance in being who he is and leading his nation the same way. Sokka spent a few of the early episodes desperate to prove himself, leaning on the pitfalls of toxic masculinity to give himself worth. This moment right here, where he bows himself before the all-female Kyoshi warriors, pleading with them to make him better, was the moment I think he became a real character in our eyes. From this moment onward, he continues to be a skilled combatant, but being a non-bender, he relies more on his brains and less on his muscle. It is the perfect arc for this character. That is until he learns the blade over the course of like one day, then he is real triple threat. Brains, bronze, and humor.
Water Tribe.
Toph was told her whole life what she can't do. She can't leave her estate. She can't be a strong earthbender. She can't see. Born as a woman with a disability, her lot in life was to be furniture. What does she do? She masters earthbending. She trains her way into sight, and she even invents a new style of bending.
Have I ever mentioned how sweet it is that you invented metal bending?
You could stand to mention it more.
In her case, I see her identity as the aspect needing to be reined in. Where other characters are struggling to keep themselves together as their responsibilities drown them, Toph does not let her responsibilities overshadow what she wants to do, often butting heads with Katara because of this. But after everyone's favorite uncle sets her straight, she becomes a real team player. Katara had to fight for everything she had. She had to train herself in the basics of waterbending. Then, when she finally found a teacher, they said she was not fit for training because she was a woman. She had to be the emotional core, always helping others as the most selfless member. She is the strongest willed character in a world that doesn't respect her as an equal person. Her response was to continue fighting. Now, these are different mediums. You would not be angry with a painting for deviating from a 3-act structure. You would not expect a card game full of technical jargon and mechanics to capture the character and heart shown in the animation, the story beats, or the voice acting. I love this show. What makes this world so endearing and these characters so beloved is different for everybody. I grew up with it. When I got married, I watched it again with my wife for her first time. When my son is old enough, about 7 or so, I will watch it again with him. I ask, what did they capture? They captured the fun.